Kagalosh Boker Tov, we're continuing with Daf Yomi Amud Aleph 13.8.1. The Gemara says we're on the two dots, which is 2, 4, 5 lines down, where it says Rabbi Yehuda Omer Afisha Acher Matkinin Lo. Rabbi Yehuda says that they would also put for her another wife, which means just in case the first wife would die, and remember that he has to be married at the time of doing the service in the Bet HaMikdash, because it says V'chiper ba'ado uvad beto, beto zo ishto. So therefore we said that we had to prepare for him another wife as well. However, though, Chachamim didn't. So the Gemara says, I don't understand you. According to the rabbis, we do suspect for maybe something is going to happen, just in case we suspect that maybe something psul, some defect is going to happen to the Kohen Gadol, so that's going to disqualify him. So therefore we come and we put up another Kohen Gadol just in case. But why don't we do the same thing for the wife? So answers the Gemara. Amni lecha Rabbanan, answers the Rabbanan. Tum'ah shchicha. Mita lo shchicha. Meaning that somebody could become tameh, that could be very common. So therefore that this Kohen Gadol is going to become contaminated or impure, that's common. So therefore we're going to suspect it. But not mita. Mita is that the guy's going to drop dead. Well, we're going to suspect that every single person is just going to, drop. We don't suspect for that. So Amrulo, so they told him, Imken, if you're going to suspect now to the death of the wife, and l'davar sof, there's never going to be an end, because I'm going to come, to suspect that maybe be'emet that this one, and then maybe the second wife will also die, and the third wife, you'll never finish. So says the Gemara, Shapir kamir le Rabbi Yehuda. It's good what they said to Rabbi Yehuda. I'm saying the ta'ana that they said to Rabbi Yehuda was very, very, very valid. So says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Malecha, so Rabbi Yehuda is going to tell you, Lemita dechada chashinan. The death of one person we suspect. Lemita detarte la chashinan. He says no, but the death of two people we're not going to suspect. Which means, according to this, they're saying, listen, it's a death. The death of one person we do suspect. So this one woman that she's going to die, which is the wife, his own wife, we're going to suspect. So get her a second wife. Get him a second wife designated just in case the first one dies. He has a second one already there. However, though, we're not going to start suspecting the second one as well. Okay, that's what he's going to answer you. V'Rabbanan. Exactly, in the verse of. So V'Rabbanan, according to the rabbis, if you're already going to suspect for both. If you're already going to suspect for the two different deaths as well. V'Rabbanan, according to the rabbis, Nemru inu lenavshayu, which means the Gemara is going to now go into the shita of the Chachamim. Like the Kushya of Chachamim on Rabbi Yehuda, why don't they ask on themselves also, right, that to do with the Kohen, right, which they are going to come and suspect for a Kohen, right, maybe there's going to be a psul, which means that they're going to come and they're going to suspect, right, that maybe there's going to be a psul. So too, you're going to come and you're going to say, maybe there's going to be a chashash to the wife that she's going to die. And maybe the two wives or more. Okay? So says the Gemara, Amni lecha Rabbanan, says the rabbis, Kohen Gadol Zarizu. A Kohen Gadol is very, very quick. So therefore he's very cautious, right? And he doesn't want to, how do you call it? He doesn't want to
promulgate things to make.
He will be so careful that he won't do anything of tum'ah. That's basically the concept. Meaning, what are we trying to say? We're trying to say that maybe be'emet we should suspect that there's going to be tum'ah and so on and so forth. One second, but the Kohen Gadol is very, very cautious of tum'ah. He's not going to start messing around or doing all these things. Okay? So says the Gemara, Izarizu, if he's so quick, so why don't we put him another Kohen? Meaning, if you're just going to tell me now that he's so careful and he's cautious and he's quick and he's going to make sure there's not going to be tum'ah, so why be'emet do we have to put another Kohen? So answers the Gemara, no. You want to make a person work harder? Put him at tzara. You understand? Put him at tzara. Put him there someone to do competition. If you put him there someone to do competition, he's going to do it quicker. Now you have to remember though, there's eva and then there's the tzara. Here it's to make him work quicker, but you can't put him mishum eva on the same level. Everyone understood the difference. Says the Gemara, Umi sagila betakanta? What, just because they come and they prepare for him another woman, it's already enough? Just in case the first wife dies? The Torah says it has to be his wife. Right? V'chiper ba'ado u'ba'ad beto. That's when do we read that? When are we going to read that? Tomorrow morning. Acharemot, tomorrow morning, which basically it's the same morning. Remember that this is tomorrow's daf. Yeah, this is tomorrow's daf. So therefore, on Shabbat we read the same thing. V'chiper ba'ado uvad beto, beto zo ishto. So if beto zo ishto, beto rachmana, I love beto. You just prepared a woman for him, but it's not his real wife. So fine, you put another wife just in case the first one dies. But what does it help? So answers the Gemara, the Mekadeshla. It is his wife. Why is his wife? Not only did they prepare her for him, he actually did Kiddushin to her. So therefore, it is considered Mamash's wife. So says the Gemara, 1 second, fine. Right? You went and a person went and did Kiddushin. Yeah, and obviously it was then that it was permitted to get married more than one wife. Yeah, so therefore, Kiddushin is still not 100% your wife. Kiddushin is an arusa. Arusa means a woman that she's engaged to you. It's the first step of engagement. They don't live together. So it's not mamash a wife. So says the Gemara, it's not his house. Answers the Gemara, the kanisa, no. He brought her into his house before Kippur. Meaning that this second wife, she was brought into his house before Kippur. Okay?
But he never had relation.
It says here, it doesn't speak about that. It doesn't have to, because technically speaking, the fact that he already has the yichud and that he brings her in, that's already enough.
Is a Kiddushim at 9.
Not if he's kanisa. It can be if it's kanisa.
I always learned it that way, Rabbi, that it was, that even though it was at night, we learn in Masechet Kedushin also, but doesn't matter. But the fact that she was at night, she couldn't even marry it afterwards, even though she was Betula, she couldn't marry the Kohen. They couldn't marry another Kohen. She had to marry only an Israel.
It doesn't say anything here. 1 second. So it says the Gemara, one more time. He has to be married. So now we suspect that maybe the wife is going to die, so we prepare for him another wife. But if you just designate another woman, that's nothing. So no, the Gemara says he got engaged, he got married to her. How? Giving her the ring. Kiddushin. Ask the Gemara, that's still not a wife. A wife means that you live with her. Says the Gemara, you're right, he lived with her. So says the Gemara, Im ken namar rachmana hava leshne batim. Rachmana ma v'chibet ova beto v'lo vat shne batim. He has to have one house, not two houses. If he has two wives, it's two houses, not one house. So says the Gemara, no, you're right. Hadar megadeshla. He got married to the second wife as well, but then he divorced her. So says the Gemara, if he divorced her, again, he go back to the beginning. That if the first wife dies, he's going to be without a wife because he already divorced her. Says the Gemara, lo tzricha, he divorced her on condition. As he said, right, biyom kippurim, which means he comes and he says, this is your get, right, on condition that she's going to die on Kippur. What does that mean? Yeah. So it says over here, so says the Gemara, that on the condition that she's going to die, we're going to have to see what this means. So says the Gemara, the Dilma lo maite. Maybe the second wife will not die, and also the first one will not die. So then it's going to be two houses. So what does that mean? Right? And also, I don't understand the first answer, because if the first answer was, this is a get, if she dies, you don't need the get. If she dies, again, he only has one wife. So I don't know, but okay, but here the Gemara is going to ask, yeah, but if she doesn't die, so then again, he's married to two women. But rather he says, this is a get if she's not going to die. So ilomita, if she doesn't die, so then migarshala, so then she's divorced. We might, and if she dies, she has the other one, the first, right? The first wife. So says the Gemara, yeah, but Dilma hilo maita, right? Maybe the first wife is not going to die, right? That she was the one that received the get. Right? And then it's going to be chal the get, right? Umaita chavertan, the first wife is going to die. The kamlo blobait, and then he's not going to have a house. Meaning, if the second wife got a get, and it was on condition that she doesn't die, right? Now she didn't die, so it was a good get. But maybe the first one died, so again he's without a wife. But rather he says no. Al menat shetamut achat mikem, one of you. So then maitaha kaimahach, maitahach kaimahach. So he says, if the first wife died, so then it wasn't a get, so therefore the second wife is his wife. And if the first one, the second wife, so that there was a good get. Says the Gemara, yeah, maybe nobody's going to die. And it's still going to be two wives. But the condition was that maybe one of them is going to die. Yeah, but what happens if none of them dies? And furthermore, is that a get? The Amar Rava says, imagine a person comes and he says to his wife, this is a get on condition you never drink wine. All the days of my lifetime, in your lifetime. That's not kritut. Right? But if it says that the life of this person, it is kritut. Meaning, if a person comes and he divorces his wife and he leaves onto her like a lien, the lien it's like a condition. But the condition is a condition that's not just for today, tomorrow. It's a condition for the entire lifetime. So that's not called kritut. Kritut means it has to be cut off. Something that's cut off cannot have any type of an attachment. Here, any day she'll drink wine, the entire get is pasul, and then she was married retroactively. We don't. So that's not called a get. We don't hold of that, right? So therefore, the same thing. He's saying over here, if he's going to come and divorce her on minat that she's going to die in Kippur, right? It could be that it's not going to mitkayem, and therefore it's not memet. It's not menatek. It doesn't cut off. Ela damala. But rather he tells her, this is your get on condition that your friend does not die. So if the friend does not die, she's divorced. And if she does die, so then that's the second wife. It's going to be hers. It's going to be the second wife. So says the Gemara, maybe the wife is going to die in the middle of the avodah. And then it's going to be mitkale the davar, right? Retroactively, you gimel mubet. The gita ve'ha lav gita. This get is not a good get. And then he's doing an avodah with two houses, meaning married to two women. And so the Gemara, but rather he said, no, this is a get on condition that your friend does die. Okay? So says the Gemara, yeah, but again, it doesn't make it. It will work. Maybe the friend is going to die, and then it's going to be a get, and then he's without anybody again. I mean, you understand, like, mamash, it's like, to understand even the havamina, sometimes you're just thinking, like, what's going on here? Like, the entire thing. So the Gemara says, Ela, but rather you're right. He divorces both of them. For one of the wives, he's going to say, that this is your get on condition that your friend does not die. And another one, he says, right, that this is your get on condition that you're not going to go into the Bet Knesset on Kippur. It's a powerful one, yeah? It's going to be on condition she doesn't go to the Bet Knesset on Kippur. And therefore, here it says there's going to be three options. Nobody's going to die. Rachel is going to die and Leah is going to die. So he says, if nobody dies, so Rachel becomes retroactively divorced because Leah did not die. And towards the end of Kippur, Leah is going to go to the Bet Knesset, and then it's going to be vatel the get. That's why it was to do with not going into the Bet Knesset, because basically what happens is that if the first one dies, so then the second one runs into the Bet Knesset. The second she runs into the Bet Knesset, retroactively, it wasn't a good get for the second one. So now she's married to the Kohen Gadol. So the Kohen Gadol was always married. You understand? And if Rachel does die, right, that's what he says. So then it was so then what happens is that she's going to go into Bet Knesset that we just said. But if Leah dies, so then the first one is going to be batel, right? Because that's it, because the other one died. And then what happens is, right, and the other one did not come into the Bet Knesset, obviously, but she dropped dead, so she's not going to the synagogue. So says the Gemara, maybe that one is not going to die. And she's also not going to go into the Bet Knesset. So now by doing that, so now the get of both of them is a good get. Because for the first one, right, what was the first get? So it's a good get. And the second one was but she wasn't ichnasa. So therefore it's going to be a good get for both. And again, he's by himself. Ella, but rather, says the Gemara, one of them, he says, right? This is going to be the right that it's going to be a get on the condition that she doesn't die, that the other one does not die. And one of them he says that I'm going to go into the Bet Knesset. Di maitaha, because if tamut Rachel, kaimaha. So then Leah is still here. Di maitaha, and if Leah is going to die, kaimaha, then Rachel is still here. Michael, what are you going to say? Maybe she's going to die in the middle of the avodah, and then you're going to do the avodah l'mafreya with two houses. If she's going to see that she's going to die, he's going to run to the Bet Knesset, and then he's going to make this get a get retroactively. Okay? Fine. So matkif la Ravasi v'tema Ravavida. So asks Ravasi, and some people say it's Ravavida. Ela me'ata, we're going to say the following question, right? When you're going to have two yevamot, which are basically two women which are tzarot, that they came to a yibum, right? Because the husband died. Lo yityabimu. What? You're going to tell me right now that there's not going to be the mitzvah of yibum? Right? Well, how could that be? Right? So says the Gemara, Yevimto riba. No, the Torah comes and adds in the word Yevimto a few times. So it's coming to teach you that the mitzvah of yibum is shayach, even when it's going to be two women which are tzarot coming together. Which means that even though the beto is usually one wife and not two wives, just like we said, to do with yavam, there's an extra one that even if it's going to be two yavamot from one house, it's still going to be chal. Okay, so that means it is shayach two yavamot. Okay, so it says the Gemara, Matkif la Ravina. Ravina comes and he asks the following question: Vitema Rav Shravia, and someone says Rav Shravia. Ela me'ata. We're going to ask now the question: when it says beito, arusa lo tityabem. So therefore, an arusa should not get married, because an arusa is not a bite. What do we just say? How do we get onto this entire Gemara? That's why we said that it couldn't have been just kiddushin. Kiddushin is not a house. When a person does kiddushin, kiddushin is still nothing. It's not his house. What's the proof also? Think about it. An arusa, she lives in her parents' house. She doesn't live in his house. So therefore, when it says beito, his house, it's when there's a true marriage. True marriage is he brings her from her house, from her father's house, to his house. So an arusa is not his house. So according to that, an arusa should not do yibum. Why? Because it says bet achiv, the house, and it's not the house. And so the Gemara, no, but it says lo tiyeh shetamet achutza liishsa. When it says achutza, outside to a stranger, lerabot et arusa, it comes to include an arusa. That means even an arusa is obligated in yibum. So it's an extra like terminology which is including to yibum. Okay, fine. Now the Gemara is going to talk about something new. Okay, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Kohen Gadol makriv onen ve'eno ochel. Do you know that a Kohen Gadol is going to be makriv even though he's an onen? Which means even though he's in aninut, that means a family member passed away and they didn't bury them, he still does the service in the Beit HaMikdash, but he does not eat it. Rabbi Yehuda says kol hayom, the entire day. Which the Gemara is going to explain what does that mean. My kol hayom, what does it mean the entire day? Amar Rava says lo nitzecha ela lav yom mitoch beto. Rabbi Yehuda is coming to teach you that it's a mitzvah to come and bring him from the house. What does that mean? Not only is it permitted for the Kohen Gadol to do the service when he's in Aniyut, there's a mitzvah to bring him from his house when he's in Aniyut in order to do the service. Meaning, not only if he's already there and he's doing, no. He's at home, bring him. He's going to do the service. Amalei Abaye comes and he says, Hashta le Rabbi Yehuda now, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Puka Mafkina la, right? What does that mean? We're going to come and we're going to take him out as if saying, the time was we learned to the Braita. What happens if the Kohen Gadol is on the Mizbeach? He's doing the service and he finds out that somebody passed away. He has to go and leave the Bet HaMikdash. These are words of Rabbi Yehuda. So it means according to this Shitat of Yehuda, he has to stop the service and he's leaving the Bet HaMikdash. Now you're going to tell me that you're going to bring him into the Bet HaMikdash? What's going on? Rabbi Yosef Omer Yigmor, let him finish. Now, so there's a Stiran Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda in one place is telling you, right, that if he's in the middle of the service, you stop him. And then in another place, and you tell him to leave, because it says Yotzeh, he leaves the Bet HaMikdash. And this Rabbi Yehuda just says that now if he finds out you're going to come and you're going to call him from his house to do the service, what's going on? Elama Rava, but rather Rava says, my kol hayom, what does it mean kol hayom? Yeah, Yudale the Mudale 14a1. She'eno oved kol hayom. Why? What does that mean? We're going to make sure that he's not going to do the service the entire day, right? Why? That means he could continue. and he's allowed to, but we make sure he doesn't. Why? Because if not, people eat. When people are working around, they forget, and all of a sudden, whoops, they could eat, and he's not allowed to eat. So because of that, he's not going to do it. Let's try to get to the Mishnah. It says over here, we're right there. It says Rava to Rava. Does Rabbi Yehuda have a suspicion and he makes a gezerah, a decree? Maybe he's going to eat from the kodshim. But now we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda says, they would come and they would segregate another wife for him. Maybe the first wife is going to die. And if the first wife dies, he's doing avodah, which means that even though he's doing it anonen, and he's doing it the entire day. So you see from here, right? I don't know what's the question that you're going to ask on this.
That he's working on the whole day,
and therefore what's going to happen? He might
eat.
What day is it?
Yom Kippur.
The Gemara's going to say that right now in 3 seconds. No, but that's the first thing that shoots out at you. What are you talking about? He's going to eat. It's Kippur. The Gemara's going to say it in 2 seconds. Right? It says the Gemara, V'lo gazar Rabbi Yehuda Hashem yochal there. Rabbi Yehuda did not make a gezerah. Maybe you're going to eat it. So answers the Gemara, Malay. He says, what are you talking about? Can you compare both cases? Hatam it's Yom Kippur. Nobody's eating. Kevin Yom Kippurimu. So he's also not going to, meaning, even though he's doing the service at Anubis, his wife just passed away, nobody's eating, so he's not going to eat. That's why Rabbi Yehuda said we're not going to make a zera. But to do with us in the rest of the year, everyone's eating. Imagine the Kohen Gadol is walking around and everybody's eating. So he might also. He's also going to eat. So says the Gemara, is there an inu bichlal? Right? Why? According to what we just answered, because he gave her a get al t'nai, right? That basically that she would be divorced if she dies. So if she's going to be divorced if she dies, it's not his wife anymore. Because the second that she dropped dead, it was limafreya retroactively. It wasn't his wife. If it wasn't his wife, he's not an end. So answers the Gemara, no, you're right. There's no aninut. It threw the milomitrid. But what, you're going to tell me that he's not mitztaer? He's not going to have the tirda. It could be there's no halachot of aninut, but his mind is not there. His wife just passed away. He's going to be sad. So it's the same concept, even though there's no mamash halachot, because he did a trick in order to get out of aninut, right? It wasn't, he did the trick. We did it for him, but meaning he's still mitrad. He's still going to be tarud. So because it's going to be tarud, that's why we had to come and we had to make sure, right, of what's going on. Okay, that's what he says. Because of the tzar, right, we should actually come. It's fitting to prohibit an achila kodshi like an onen. We'll continue Bezrat Hashem on Sunday morning.